Hey, good morning. This is Kathryn Perry, the Big Vision Coach, and welcome to the Daily Command. At the time of this recording, it's February 8th, and I'm doing a one command with you every day at 9 a.m. Central Time. And I have started to get the most wonderful message. People are saying that are getting big breakthroughs. They enjoy it. So if you are enjoying this, if you like this, be sure and do the subscribe thing or like the video, share, hit all the buttons because I have a vision for bringing this method to the world because I'm going to tell you what my, big vision is. Mine is I really have on my heart is to be an agent that brings about world peace. Now, I know that I'm just one person, and I know that there's a whole lot of other forces, but I do believe that me, you, and some other folks, we share this mission. And everything that we're doing today will bring peace in our life, peace to our hearts and minds, create a pathway for peace between us and the people in our lives. And by doing that, eventually we will have world peace. We have to have a new option. And that starts with having new thoughts and beliefs and feelings and acting from that. So, if you know what is my nefarious plan, I want to bring peace to you at wherever you are right now and give you the tools to create that peace, to create fulfillment according to what makes you particularly happy, what brings fulfillment for you. And so that's the secret mission behind doing all of this. Of course, this is my business. This is how I take care of myself and my family. But, I could have done a lot of other things that would make money, honestly. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I think that this is true for you too. If you are a healer or a coach or an author, if you are one of the helpers of the world, you know exactly what I'm saying. If we're about the money, we can go make money, but there's something on our hearts within us that's made up our particular bend of light that we know that we have the ability to affect change in people's lives. And you decided to make that change be a force for good. And for that, I thank you. And I just witness your greatness. So, what are we talking about today in our little one command? I started with that, but the command today is about flexibility. Like here, I have this big giant goal, but we have to have many ways to achieve it. Okay. And one of the ways to think about it is a spring. Now, a spring, what makes a solid metal rod, is the exact same thing that makes a spring, and it's only how they apply heat and they start changing this, and the spring will actually add strength to everything that it's connected to, right? And the quote that we are kind of basing today's command on and the way we want to think about it is flexibility comes from having multiple choices. Wisdom comes from having multiple perspectives. And the reason that this matters is that we tend to get in our own perspective, right? It's like, here's the way I do it. This is the way I've always done it. And then we want to make change. But the way that we are seeing ourselves, this is the goggles, the blinders, this is living in ordinary consciousness. The solution for our hope, wish, or desire for the fulfillment of whatever goal we're working on is outside our ordinary perception. This could be a good representation of us in our ordinary way of thinking. It's actually more like this, a very teeny tiny. If you've ever, as a kid, you played this game, or like me, I broke my glasses and I created this little teeny pinhole so that I could look at things, right? And this is how we started, this became the norm. And this is our ordinary consciousness. This is us in beta thinking. We're talking about the brain waves. There's not a lot of flexibility. And the thing is, if I'm operating from this, I can only see what's inside this hole. And then what I see, what I understand, what I'm seeing from this little tiny pinhole here is going to be based on my own experiences, my beliefs, my conditioning, all of the filters. So I'm seeing all these multi layers of information and filters and projections, things I'm going, oh, well, this always is that, it's not that. And, all of this stuff. We are trying to create a world and change our lives and manifest money or relationships or be that masterful force for good in the world. So when we shift through the 6 steps of the one command and we intentionally start motor driving our brain waves, we are able to start shifting our perception of what's possible. We're able to see the big picture. We're able to see it from different levels of consciousness, which is amazing. We're able to have greater empathy. And rather than going, why are people like that? You have to tune in. What is me is like that. And you have to be able to understand the perspective before you can start making a change. I believe, and I've seen this evident over and over again, especially in dealing with difficult people. That was my job for many years as an apartment manager. You can imagine, even back when I was waiting tables, but having difficult family members, I had to, if I really wanted to make a change in the relationship, I had to understand their perspective, where they were coming from. Not agree with it, but to understand it. And then through that empathizing, I really started to understand that most people are just trying to figure it out. They're just trying to do what's best for them, but they have not given themselves a lot of flexibility in perspective to be able to make the change. And so they stay stuck in their way. I live in a small town in Texas. And if you can imagine, Texas is kind of a purple state now, but the small towns are very red because they're kind of in their own little thought bubble. They're in their own little echo chamber. And everybody's pretty much like them, they're pretty much in their same boat. And they don't really have a big repertoire of flexibility when it comes to seeing things from a different perspective, unless college, travel, choice of books that they read, and they started allowing different influences. And I'm saying they, me, I'm talking about me. I'm talking about you. This is us, guys. This is exactly how it works. But I could be mad. I could be opposing, right? When you are opposing, you're in a frozen, non-flexible position. And you're polarized, and that gives you fewer choices, fewer options. Oh my goodness. So we have to be clear on what is the outcome that we want from these interactions. What kind of world do you want to live in? Well, then you've got to allow yourself to have that flexibility of thinking and start shifting your perspective and seeing yourself in different ways, right? There's a idea in business now when it's like, hey, we want to, there's an opportunity here, we want to go after it, or there's a problem to solve. The first thing they'll do is they'll go, what are the many ways to approach this problem? How many options are there? How many ways can we solve this? How many solutions can we come up with? And then putting themselves and running through each scenario, or they might put it in their computer and do AI magic and all of that stuff now in modeling. But that is what these new times, that is what the new you requires. And so after you do your one command, if there's something that you want to attract, create, or manifest, one, you've got to know what you want. This fuzzy behind me, I may have to change that. One, you got to really be clear on what do you want. Right? And that is so difficult for so many people. It's like, oh, I don't know what I want. What if you don't know what you want? What do you command for then? Well, you would command for clarity. I don't know how I am crystal clear on my own wants, needs, and desires. I don't know how I'm crystal clear on my true wants, needs, and desires. Just breathe into that. Now, the wonderful thing about the one command statement is this: you can just simply make the statement and it causes a shift. But when you use the statement in conjunction with the 6-step process to, as you lower your brainwave, we go up into theta, you're actually raising your vibration. You're expanding your sphere of influence. You're moving out from this field of ordinary consciousness and even moving beyond your own imagination, and you're connecting into the quantum field of limitless possibility. But you're also tapping in to anyone who's ever tried to solve this problem, anyone who on any planes and dimensions of our reality, these parallel universes, right? We are able to tap into all consciousness when we go into theta and allow a new belief, a new skill, a new understanding can begin to arrive. And that's what we're talking about when we say we're going to witness this coming in. It's very much like watching the download, like if you remember the Matrix and the Matrix movie, and there was the scene where Keanu Reeves, they're going, oh, you need to know Kung Fu, and they inserted the new program, and then it was like, whoa, I know Kung Fu. That moment. That's my terrible Keanu Reeves. But we're able to allow that new understanding that's beyond our own experience, and that creates extreme flexibility in our perspectives, and that gives us the competitive advantage, that gives us a creative advantage, that gives us an emotional advantage, that gives us the ability to meet what I said when I say the master in me is greeting the master in you. I'm connecting in from my higher self to the other person's higher self so that a greater understanding, a greater possibility can arrive. So if you just using the one command statement in itself without going to one through the 6 steps, you're going to notice a shift in your thinking. You're going to be releasing, you're going to be untying your mind from its programming and allowing it to be flexible so that it can find a new solution. Okay, so let's just start with, I don't know how. I am attuned to my own true wants, wishes, and desires. I only know I am now and I am fulfilled. So, a big thing that holds us up, and I'm just going to say this very quickly, is that when we think that we're going to get what we want, need, or desire, that means that's going to take away from somebody else. That's a perspective based on a belief, based on what we were trained to believe. It's like, no, you can't have a popsicle now. If you have one, your sister won't have one. They won't. If you eat now, if you eat what I had planned for dinner, we won't get to have dinner. You're right. We're going to take away. Somebody's going to lose, right? So we have to understand that the fulfillment of your wants, wishes, and desires does not take away from other people, but it, as your greater vision, as your needs are met, there's this greater idea that begins to arrive. And that's what we're doing when we go into the expand phase. Wow, like as I'm getting my wants, needs, and desires met and fulfilled from a true, authentic motivation that I don't have to lie, trick, or steal in order to have what I need. Wow, that means other people can have that too. Wow. And them getting their needs met does not mean that I can't get my needs met. Greater flexibility, greater understanding. Then your world starts opening up. But you have to be focused on what is the outcome that you want. But then we have to be willing to allow something greater to arrive. Sometimes we may have to have practice experiences and it may not arrive to the degree that you want. So an example would be, it's like, hey, I want to live in magnificent wealth and abundance. And for you, living in magnificent wealth and abundance may mean having $100,000 in your bank account. That's cool. Somebody else, it may be having 100,000 in their bank account, or it may be having 50,000 or $100. But you're going to have to practice those skills. So if you're commanding for 100 million and you only get $100, understand that you are practicing. You're in the training wheels. You're not judging yourself because you didn't manifest a million. You celebrate the 100. And then you go, what other ways can I manifest this? So after you've decided what you want, you do your one command. Hey, this is what I want. Then you want to brainstorm. Brainstorm. What are some of the ways that I can do that? And the reason is we want to kind of get your brain involved. We want to start tapping in. And what will happen is you run through all these scenarios, and then you might go, yeah, that may not be realistic for me, or I could totally see that doing. And it's like, what will happen is you're running through all of the possible ways that you could create what you want, all the possible ways that could happen. You're going to wind up saying or seeing, or there'll be an idea that comes in and it's going to light you up. You're like, oh, that, of course. Why, of course, that's what I'm going to do. It's so simple. Let's do that thing. And so you're opening yourself up to allowing the solution to arrive. Can what you want to manifest come to you without taking action, without doing this? Yes. And we'll talk about this in another time, but from creating your state of being. And this is a very powerful way of doing it. But if you are coming from the old way of thinking into the new way of thinking, you've got to train your mind to allow new perspectives to arrive, right? And with those new perspectives, and then you're able to see, believe it or not, once you've made the decision what you want, and you said, this is the goal, the blueprint for what you desire is instantly created. But you've got to get out of your old way of thinking in order to even see the blueprint. And you've got to get out of that old way of being and doing through flexibility before you could act on and implement everything that needs to happen to make that blueprint that's divinely ordered, created from your higher self to manifest whatever you want, need, or desire. You have to have greater flexibility in thinking. Okay? That's where that comes from. Who's excited about getting flexible? Okay, I'm going to tune into the comments real quick. Oh, hey, David. If you are watching by way of, if you're on Facebook watching this, hey, all you got to do is like the StreamYard app that's in the comments of, that's part of the description here. If you like that, I'll be able to see your comments. All right, so who is ready for some commands? All right, let's go for it. So the basic one command format, as we know, is I don't know how and you would state your command, what it is that you want. Now we're going to do commands around flexibility today, but you may also, and you may want to add something. Something's coming up for you where you realize, hey, I'm really rigid in my thinking. I am going, the only way that I can make the money is to do this thing. Well, you may need some flexibility in how you do the thing. You may be doing it wrong. You may be doing it in a way that worked 5 years ago, but it's not working today. So we want to have some flexibility so that we can allow that greater information to arrive. So I don't know how you'll state your command. I only know it's so now, and I am fulfilled. Okay, so think about what you want to attract, create, or manifest as we go through the 6 steps of the one command. First, I want to invite you to ground. The quickest way to ground is just kind of wiggle your toes and settle into your hips and become aware of your connection to the earth and the earth's connection to you. Bring your attention to your heart as you align to your purpose. And the purpose is for today, it's around flexibility. I don't know how to be more flexible in my perspective. I don't know how. I don't know how I am more flexible in my thinking, feeling, and ways of being. And align to that. And there may be a part of you that is beautifully and perfectly stubborn and resistant. And that beautiful, perfect, resistant part of you, I see you. I'm interested in you. You haven't done anything wrong. All you're trying to do is take care of yourself. And all I want to do is support you in all the ways you need to be loved and supported. Now, I'm going to invite you to become aware of and remember that you have a connection to Source. And it's often represented as a pole of light that comes right down through the top of your head, through your crown chakra. It goes down these two channels on either side of your spine. It goes all the way down to the center of the earth. And with your eyes closed, very softly, roll your eyes up as if you're trying to look up through the top of your head. Don't strain. Roll your eyes up until it's at a comfortable position. I'm going to keep them there for just a moment. And send your consciousness up this pole of light. And the higher you go, the faster you go, and soon you're above the earth. You're the outer edges of our solar system, the outer edges of our galaxy. Soon you're able to see other universes, and you come to the velvety black void of space. In the distance, you may be aware of a teeny pinpoint of light. Head towards that. And as you break through the darkness into the light of pure, open potential, eyes still up, I'm going to state the one command. I don't know how. I am crystal clear on my own wants, needs, and desires. I only know I am now and I am fulfilled. Let your eyes relax for a second and let that go. Let that expand out to an idea even greater that serves more good in its fulfillment. Roll your eyes back up. And I don't know how. I have the ability to be extremely flexible in understanding and adapting new perspectives while staying focused on my intended outcome, while staying in alignment with my truest values. I only know I do now, and I am fulfilled. And now we're just going to let it go. Your eyes are relaxed, and we're just going to expand. And this is a commandment for your subconscious mind, but now just allow your energy to expand, 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 expand to an idea even greater that serves more good in its fulfillment. And now, as you start to receive this new understanding, the new tools, systems, resources, this greater state of being, I want to just invite you to receive it with gratitude. And so, very often, your eyes are relaxed now, and just start saying, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Remember to breathe. Just take and get in. And as this new state of being arrives, of this superpower of being able to be in flexibility, let the old ways, the old resistance, the old rules, we're just going to let all that unwind. That old limiting belief about yourself, your old limiting beliefs and opinions. We're just going to let all that go. Unwind. We're also speaking directly to your master DNA strand. Unwind, unwind, unwind. And now we're simply going to allow these new ideas to begin to integrate and rewind. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. And do an internal check in as you think about flexibility and perspective. When you think about what it is that you want to create, attract, or manifest, and you're really working hard on it, you're thinking about it all the time. How can being flexible in your perspective make your want, need, or desire manifest, show up even faster? I wonder how that can serve you. And then we always advise that people keep a journal, make notes, and then of what their commands are or what their awareness is. And then we always say the 7th step is inspired action, to be ready for that new idea or the inspiration or opportunity and just go for it. Hey, you might go ahead and be like that movie and have a yes day. And today I'm going to say yes to the world. I tend to be a little fixed. I tend to be a little fixed in my thinking, and allowing flexibility to come in and to be more flexible in my choices and my ways of thinking has been a big part of my own personal growth. One time I said, I'm going to say yes. Because my default is to say no. Okay. We have a default way of thinking. We initially say no. And I realized I was kind of in that mode of no, I don't want to. And I started getting these opportunities started arriving. And before I might have been modest or not time or whatever. And from saying yes, I got invited to a conference that the ticket price was about $1,000. And I said yes. I didn't know how it was going to happen. The ticket got comped for me. They said, "Oh no, you're my guest." Oh, well, thank you. Yes, I will go. And then it was like, well, I've got to figure out the hotel. And I was telling my aunt, I said, yes, I'm going to come. I need to have a place to, I'm going to probably get a room at the hotel. And she's like, no, you're not going to pay for a hotel. We have the guest cottage that we used it for storage forever. We just fixed it. Please come stay. And I said, well, okay. What I'll do is I'm going to go to the airport and then I'll rent a car and I'll come out to you. He said, why are you going to do that? We have a car for you to drive. If you can get home, we will get you. If you can get to us, then we get everything else handled. I started saying yes. I got to sit next to a multimillionaire who I'd met once in Dallas, and here I'm in Los Angeles. We wound up becoming amazing friends. I got invited to his mastermind, his high-level mastermind, and I said yes. And I said, what is the payment? And he said, I want you to be my guest. So what would it be like as you keep saying yes and yes and yes, that the world is saying, why are you stressing? Why are you struggling? The way is already here. Just say yes. And that is what I'm going to end today on. I appreciate you so much. And of course, I work with people every day on this, and I am accepting coaching clients. And if you want to have greater flexibility in your perspective, if you want to have greater clarity, if you want to be able to set goals and fulfill those goals and live in a world where the world is ready to say yes to you, let's have a deep conversation about what you want and what challenges you're facing and how we can help you access that blueprint for success. That is all the tools, systems, everything that you need to create the life that you want, need, or deserve. You go out and you have an amazing day. This is Kathryn Perry, the Big Vision Coach, and I witness your mastery, everybody. Bye-bye. Mwah.